you made the most salient point for game 2. Titan cannot falter the way he did early in game 1. You've got Zeri Lulu. You have been given, spoon-fed just way too much for this game to go anything other than competitively if you're Titan and JoJo.
Yeah, and of course there's the big question. We're looking at JoJo and Titan, but also now I think this game is more Natuno and Redbird trying to enforce their will in the bot lane. Last game, they were on the Sivir Yumi? No, Sivir Lulu. They basically could afford to sit back a little bit and look to skill up. They didn't have to try and win the lane outright. This time, they kind of have to, because if your Lushinami is not ahead coming out of lane, you're certainly not going to have the same level of impact as a Zeri will later on here. And interestingly enough, Aegis actually coming down here. They're looking for a potential delayed invade coming out, but it's just drawing more and more bodies.
Yeah, the delayed invade it's a risky one, right? I mean, like you said, you leave more time for responses. If you're able to get even one ward down into that pixel brush, Goot sensing something, right? Because of that ward in the pixel brush, knowing that something was up, knowing that the bottom lane was empty. So, again, there's another strong start for Aegis, but we saw how Goot was able to deal with it on this same champion in the last game. I said we're going to learn a lot about Goot in game 1. I got to tip my cap to him. This kid, you've been part of these conversations where I have thrown anyone's going to look good on this team mantle onto Goot, but he's showing a lot more in the playoffs so far.
Now, a couple of small differences from what happened last game. This game, basically Aegis has forced a sort of vertical jungle style here where Goot can't reinforce the bot lane of Natuno and Redbird. And we were just talking about how Lushinami need to get ahead. Ideally, you want your Vi to be looking for early ganks down there. Now, Goot can't do that because he's been forced to the top. Another thing too is last game, Goot got 3-buffed, but Goot was still farming at the same time, so he could just look for efficient ganks here. This time, not so much mid lane. Aegis is here first.
Grepthar is so low. Aegis gets the shield down, flashing immediately, gets it on heavy. First blood for Aegis. That's what you want to see if you're a Red fan. The chase is still onto Goot. He's a level up. Grepthar has put a point into his E, but Goot will have to flash out. That is huge for Aegis.
Oh, and they can just keep snowballing this. FNB's got to know that, hey, I might get ganked as well here. Still playing really aggressively. Yeah. Does have that Spirit Tether to kind of buy him that space to play aggressively. And for Red, we're just talking about the fact that they forced the vertical jungle. They are going to successfully force the 3-buff as well. Goot, already slow to get his first camp, is going to be even slower now. What else can you do here? Aegis revisiting the mid lane. They know they've burnt the flash. I love it.
Keeping their foot on the gas, like we wanted to see, like Furia did so well. Envy trying to take Grepthar down with him. Oh, will do it. Those rocks hit hard, RMC, but you know what hits harder? A freaking hammer, even if it's wielded by a Yordle. 2-0 for the reigning MVP.
Oh my goodness, Grepthar did not have to die there.
No, that's tough.
Misplayed the lane. Yeah, I mean, it just was coming. You knew you had backup. So not the end of the world or the side of Furia there, but certainly looking like it with the way Aegis is getting fed. And we criticized Aegis last game for not having presence. 0-0-0 at 15 minutes. You pointed that out 4x4, and it was an issue. This game, right away, we're not even 5 minutes into the game yet. Aegis already up 2 kills here, and I want to see that kill lead being snowballed into the other lanes. The other thing worth noting as well is both those kills happen in the mid lane. So Grepthar, somebody we marked as somebody who likes to roam to help out his team here. If both your jungle and mid are ahead and they like to roam, that is how you get your side lanes in a really good position for the mid game.
Yeah, here we go. Right, you've plated something up here. Aegis has gotten himself in a really, really good spot. Even though Grepthar is 0-1, he's got himself the Dark Seal early on, right? It could be actually a pretty gold efficient item. You can drop it if things start to go sideways. And obviously the goal is to stack it. Envy, he's got himself at 1-2, opted for a tier initially, went the commencing stopwatch as well, getting a ton of early value out of his I should say, well, I don't know if early value is the right term. He's going to get a lot of value out of it in the later stages of the game. But right now, sitting in a little bit of a power trough, as it were. Meanwhile, in the top lane, FNB and Guigo going at it back and forth. Guigo was able to take a back, actually, and come back with an amp tome. Didn't even have to burn TP. I missed that. And in the bottom lane, it is Furia with the vision control in the river. Natuno coming back with a serrated Dirk. First up here.
Yeah, so top side, Gigo did benefit a little bit from that pressure that Aegis put down there. FNB really couldn't properly full shove that wave, so Gigo got to set it up, got to base and buy, and they're almost level 6 in that top lane as well, and that's where I'm kind of curious to watch at that level 6, because that's when things get spicy for both Yone and Gwen. They're trading really heavily as well, so there is a lot of kill threat if they don't base up. FNB might just drop here.
Ignite down, got the flash out as well. He's got 2 charges of that. Oh, the most fortuitous level 6 of all time. Guigo able to mop up FNB with the solo bolo.
Not gonna lie, I knew they were close. I didn't realize they were that close. I thought there was going to be that trade, and then the next one was going to be the kill. But no, Gigo hit 6. Now, Gigo might be a little over... What? Okay. Might be a little overzealous here. Okay, no, they're not going to punish it. FNB still isn't 6.
Yeah, still not 6. Guigo's got a fatty wave about to crash. Oh, and Aegis! Not even waiting for the wave to crash. It goes over the wall immediately. Oh, if that charm landed, Envy was cooked.
And that's a little bit on Greftar, not, recognizing how far the knockback range exactly was. Generally, when you see that sort of CC come through, it's a guaranteed follow-up for things like the charm here. And yeah, it was really, really close, but it's enough to force Envy to have to play incredibly carefully. And I think Envy is actually being a little bit greedy, sticking around here. Thankfully, Greftar is completely out of mana.
And Greftar, completely out of mana, and it hurts so much more because Envy didn't have flash up. Now he's going to get it back, so now he can play a little bit more forward. But yeah, again, it's not like you were worried about predicting a flash after the gank set up there, or after the gank itself from Aegis, taking a really creative path. I love that, right? You think you're a little more safe under your tower. Aegis taking a more traditional path. This time around, Fate sealed out. Goes FNB with no flash. Uses his ultimate to get out of dodge. What an early game from Aegis. This is the exact opposite of what we saw in game 1, and Red are reaping the rewards. They're up almost 2,000 gold here at the 7-minute mark.
Yeah, blue side OP. For you're mentioning after last game that you were actually hyped for draft. Yeah, I am too, because it's looking like draft right now is deciding a lot of this game. Red got all the CBLOL power picks, and it's certainly showing its strength right now. Now, top side's winning, mid lane's winning, and even bot lane. When we took a look, Titan and Jojo were winning that trade. He is up CS against a Lucian Nami here, formerly one of the most oppressive early game bot lanes. And for Furia, that's not a good look. Your bot lane is kind of done. Unless Good or Envy visit it sometime in the next 5 minutes, you can kind of kiss your team fighting in the mid game goodbye here in a full 5v5, and then you've just got to kind of pile in on FNB, hope that he can get big enough that the Yone can 1v5.
Yeah, just taking his advantage into the enemy jungle. Yeah, he needs some sort of pressure relief from Goot, but he's only just hitting level 6. To be fair, Aegis has only just had level 6 as well. Envy with Ignite ticking down. I don't think it'll be enough. Oh, it will be. Titan, silently, focusedly, high-fiving Greftar. That is a man on a mission right now. If there's someone that's playing on tilt right now, it might be Titan. But man, it's just so tough. Yeah, Furia can't catch a break. This is a complete role reversal on all fronts from what we saw in game 1.
Yeah, and you're talking about FNB needs a pressure relief from Goot. I think Goot needs pressure relief right now. Yeah. Everywhere he goes, it feels like Aegis is already there ahead of him. He's just being read like a book right now. And I guess that's where experience is showing, right? The fact that, yeah, Aegis has played more CBLOL. Goot kind of nears the scene. Yes, he's more explosive, but right now it's not about explosive power. It's about trying to come back into the game. It's more about staying power right now for Furia.
Yeah, you've got to be able to stem the bleeding. So this is going to get out of control. Aegis has been all over the map. He's looking for Herald number 1. Actually going to give up on it. He saw the ward come over the wall. Couldn't see anyone else in the bottom river or anything. No one approaching that dragon. So thought, I think I might be next on the menu here. Now it's
a good call. Good.
Yeah.
Actually getting in there here. Yes, flash.
Does have flash. Take some creative pathing over some walls if you're Vi, and not need to blow flash. So, yeah, no, Goot just trying it out, knowing that he was safe. Down some health here. Could be a 3v4 if everyone decides to join the fight. Guigo getting a big old wave here. Aegis trying to pounce here on the Herald. Goot not completely out of the fight. I think Red Canids are the ones that come up with the Herald. Titan and Jojo joining the fight. It is indeed. Aegis picks up the Eye of the Herald. Envy is stuck. He's got no flash. He's got no dash. He's got no way out of this fight. Poppy picking up a kill, meanwhile up on Redbird in the Tri-Brush. 2 more kills for Red. The lead balloons to 3,000.
We're not at 10 minutes yet. Is it too early to call the game?
This is really, really rough.
Yeah, everything has gone Red's way here. And so far, the only solo kill that Furia have picked up, the only bright spot for them came, from that mid lane 1v1. And we watched the setup to this, the fact that both teams kind of went back and forth. But we know Poppy is incredibly good at securing objectives with that Keeper's Verdict. The moment you yeet out the enemy jungle, they can't contest it. And it's unfortunate for Furia because they're still stuck in that pit area. You can see there's nowhere for them to go. The moment, Good kind of got knocked out, they were going to lose at least one person. Oh, Envy. It's like the complete reversal of last game. Last game, we saw Envy
that was
popping people like that.
Yeah, just getting plucked off the map like a gnat. Like you're picking fleas off your dog.
This time it's Envy who's getting picked off here. And now they're trying to set something up with Natuno, but I don't think you win the fight in even numbers.
No way. Aegis is really, really big. Actually, a lot of damage here early on the Titan. Had to get the Lulu ult there immediately, but Aegis going to pick up a kill. Titan is the sacrificial lamb, and it buys enough time for Grevthar to get down. Goot got the shutdown, but at what cost? This game is out of control. Envy has died 5 times already.
Yeah, and I just realized, too, that the game... Red has been playing so hard they broke the scoreboard.
Yep. Yeah, the overlay on the top there is bugged. That's not ours, by the way. That's CBLOL, just for the record.
Yeah, so we'll have to recalculate how things are going. It's what is it? It's 9-2 right now in favor of Red here. And they pick up the dragon. Oh, yeah, they get to pick up the dragon as well, pretty much utterly for free. And for Furia, they're looking kind of lost. I appreciate they tried to set up the play bot side, but again, it's not set up properly. And now Envy has to insta-cleanse. Is it enough? Barely. They're burning so much each and every time. Sure, Spirit rushes down, but that will be up a lot sooner than Cleanse.
Envy, the only thing he's got up right now is the ultimate. He and Goot trying to join FNB and getting something going here onto Guigo. The missing pings come down. Aegis knows something's up. If Guigo can kite backwards and get to his jungler, maybe they've got a chance. Grevthar TPing up to the top lane. Guigo buying a ton of time with the W. The hallowed miss. Ult goes out. FNB does get the kill there. Poppy gonna yeet Envy right out of the fight. Aegis looking for the follow-up there. Grevthar, if he gets the charm back up off cooldown, Goot trying to play dissuasion as well. That's the follow-up we wanted to see. The damage is enough this time. Aegis and Grevthar, I don't know where they left their synergy in game 1, but they have found it, RMC.
Well, we said after game 1, it's really tough to try and figure out what you need to change for game 2. I guess all you need to do is mental reset. All you can do is mental reset. And Red has certainly done that. Like you said, Gigo buying a lot of time, but it's also the fact that Red... Aegis was already there. Aegis was already moving up. Yes, he was a little bit slow, and Gigo will pay the price for that, but it's enough. And then the teleport from Grevthar, like we said, really, really good at roaming. The scariest part to me, 4x4, is not just that they found the 2v1 exchange, but they could have been a 3v1. If Spirit Rush was up, FNB dies here as well. And the snowball just keeps growing.
You see the total gold there on the left side of your screen. Goot and Envy have more than 2,000 gold less than Aegis. That is really, really tough. Yeah, Envy and Goot and FNB and Natuno are closer to JoJo and Redbird than they are to Aegis and Grevthar right now in terms of gold. It is really rough. It's just a complete over. So, I mean, I got to find a different way to say that because we're just beating a dead horse here. But it really is a remarkable story to tell as the Weaver Wall comes up, trying to, and immediately actually taken down, trying to let the dive happen here, but it's just damage is just too much. Envy buys a little bit of time, flashing away. Grevthar with a stopwatch to drop turret aggro on himself. Guigo will survive it, but not by much. Doesn't matter. Double kill for the Red Canids top laner. It's a slaughter.
For a kill's a kill, but not dying is the same. Right? It doesn't matter how low you got back out. And now JoJo is pushing out Good. You know you got problems when a support is pushing out your jungler here. Titan going to be able to pick up the turret as well here. So that Herald effectively nets 2 for the side of Red Canids. And Furia, they're utterly left scrambling. I want to highlight Envy this game because I guess this is the reason why BRTT was so unimpressed with Envy stats. Because sure, in game 1, he popped up on the Vex. Game 2, he's 1-7-1. He is more than half the deaths on Furia right now. And I can't even fault him. What can a Talia do when you're just getting dogpiled over and over again by that Poppy right now? I was hoping, maybe Envy can use that Weaver's Wall to help out the side lanes, because Goot certainly can't. But no, Envy is 2 levels down as well right now against Grevthar. The mid lane can't move. The jungle can't move. The side lanes are on their own. And so far, Natuno, FNB, Redbird, they can't find anything.
No, they've got absolutely nothing going. It feels so bad. Like you said, Talia, you've got to win lane to win game, because to make your roams effective and a little bit more risk free, is Natuno going to dump the color, the little bit of the culling into a champion and the rest into the wave? It's so rough. And also, Aegis going those early CDR boots, I think really helping out, because you've seen how many clutch ultimates he has pulled off already. And it seems like he's just using it on cooldown, which is exactly how you should be playing this Poppy, whether it's for objective and zone control, whether it's to make a tower dive a little less scary. Really impressive stuff from him. This is the kind of just turbo full steam ahead jungling that we're used to seeing from Aegis. This is what made him who he was last year.
Yeah, and we were saying earlier on that he's the only player on Red who hasn't picked up an MVP in the playoffs yet. If the game continues this way, he's going to pick it up.
100%.
Everywhere right now. I was joking about, we were talking about Medjai's last game for the side of Envy. I wouldn't even bat an eye if Aegis picks up Medjai's game right now. He's 6-0-3, and he is doing work right now. I don't think Furia can kill him. He's doing a ton of damage. Poppy is a champion whose base damages are really high. It falls off later on, as most tanks do, but it's one of the reasons why we can and do see Poppy jungle, because early on her clear is fast, her ganks are strong as well. And if you can keep ahead of the curve like Aegis has been, that damage is still highly relevant in the mid game right now. You can see they're just walking around, pushing Furia out of anywhere they want to make a play. If we want to go mid, Furia can't do much. Natuno has to start running.
Yep, and off he goes. He's got that magical footwear. It's just magical enough to get him out of trouble. He's able to drop a ward down, and that's the most productive thing he did, besides clearing out some CS there. Eye of the Herald still in the possession of Aegis, saying, you know what, I've got time on this thing. I don't even need grab the second one, obviously, because that first one did all that work in the top lane. And saying, I don't need to drop it here. Let's try to break open a base with this son of a gun. Let's try to have some fun, get max value out of this thing. The dragons are tankier nowadays. Aegis says that's super cool. I'm Poppy. I'm just a Yordle with a hammer, but I can do a lot of work on this dragon. Second objective on this side of the mid lane. All four have gone over to red, just the one tower in response for Furia. You're stepping into the wrong hood, Redbird. Man, that W. That the AP scaling is going down on that, but he's got no... Titan has no AP. That ability just plain hurts.
Yeah, it might be going down, but it apparently hasn't gone down just yet.
No, that is later. We are still on 12-14. We are light years away from Balance Zeri.
And the other thing I want to highlight was Furia had numbers advantage. They had 4 people. And you had a bunch of squishies. It was Grevthar, Titan, and Jojo holding you off. All of them are squishy. And Furia can't pull the trigger. Because they, first of all, don't really have vision on everybody and where everybody on red is. And second of all, they're just so far behind. Envy hasn't even picked up his mythic. And neither has FNB. And they are waiting for that to come through. We're almost at 20 minutes and no first mythics for Furia.
Again, does it remind you of anything that we saw last game?
It's worse, man. It's worse.
It's really tough. Yeah, I mean the snowball in the bottom lane didn't get going. Envy is doing damage control right now. Goot is down almost 50 CS. He's down actually exactly 50 CS. The only one that has kept any lane sort of close is FNB. I mean, Natuno to a little bit of a degree, but Titan has picked up 2 kills and 4 assists outside of lane. The lead is at 9,000 right now, and you saw just how lethal, even just as both ultimates blown by the top laners up there. Like what do they say? Like there was some, I think it was Sun Tzu wrote in The Art of War. He said the threat of an enemy is just as powerful as an enemy, or something like that. The threat of Aegis, like you were talking about with that fight in Bottom River, is just as powerful as Aegis. They say, look, yeah, Aegis isn't here, but if he shows up, we're all going to die. As Shelly rams her head into the bot lane tier 2, creating pressure all over the map. Our red Canids slowly and methodically dismantling this game for Furia.
Yeah, sure. You get Shelly, but they're still going to get the turret here. Yeah, the threat of Aegis right now is such a strong thing. And it's not just Aegis now. It's slowly everybody on the side of red, right? They're getting tankier and tankier. They're getting more and more damage too. Grevthar, another massive threat for this team. Yeah. The charms are pretty much death sentences here.
Oh, and that one lands there onto Redbird. Yep. Able to survive Guigo. I mean, the only reason they didn't pull the trigger was because they had a mid tier 2 in their path, but that is now history. And with a champion like Poppy, you were alluding to it before when we were talking about our base damages. That's kind of how it's got to go. If you're playing a tank jungler, the baton has to be passed, and it is being thrown at the rest of the members of Red. They are catching it with aplomb. Hand-eye coordination on full display here. Just no room to breathe anywhere on the map for Furia.
I'm gonna laugh for a second when you're like, it's been thrown. I thought you could say at Furia, and it's getting critical hits.
Yeah, I mean, it might as well be. Yeah, this baton is a weapon of everything is a weapon of mass destruction right now for Red.
True, it's the hammer that Aegis, or it's the shield that Poppy throws. It's the shield, isn't it?
Yeah, that thing, it's heavy. It's a husk of metal. Like, I think that thing's not gonna hurt if it hits you in the dome. I don't care how much resistances you have.
Well, if you are a fan of Furia, there is some good news for you. They haven't died recently.
True.
It's been a while since we saw the last kill. They've been able to fend things off. They have, however, traded turrets for life, and turrets are worth more gold. All their inners are down here. Red has been incredibly methodical with the way they took all the outers down, and they kind of go all the inner turrets, and now Red can kind of look at Baron. It's 20 minutes. It's 21 minutes. It feels like we're so much deeper into this game 4x4 because of the massive lead they have. What is that? A 10.5k gold lead here before Baron has even been taken. Furia completely left in the dark here. They've got that ward in the Baron pit, but that's a pink. It'll get cleared out. And then after that, Red can begin the Baron dance. They have full control of the jungle.
Yeah, or at least threaten the Baron dance. Seismic shove. Not available, and Envy just gets one tapped. He is so low, Natuno has to dash out of there. Flash to boot. The charm doesn't land on Natuno, but it catches up catching Goot. And Natuno is down. Summoner's blown. Flash cleanse, flash cleanse, flash. 5 of them just in that exchange for Furia. Now they start up the Baron in earnest. FNB, I'm helping, guys. I'm helping. Down the bottom lane. And unironically, he is. That's all you can do right now.
That's the best possible move you can make as a top laner when the rest of your team's just dying around you. Just push, split push. That's yeah. And maybe if you get far ahead enough, maybe you can try and contest Kigo. Weaver's Wall coming out a little bit late from Envy, more for vision than anything else there. And Goot, he was trying to get in position, maybe look for the steal. Couldn't find anything. Not going to find anybody on the back end. And with that, Furia actually managed to keep that 10k, that sort of 11k gold difference the same with that bot side turret. But the question now is, what can Red do with their Baron? There's no more inner turrets. We're looking at inhib turrets now and potentially inhibs as well.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, let's see what they do as far as the lane assignments here, right? I mean, the bottom lane is in, not in a shambles, but it is the most in a shambles lane of the 3. Aegis going to give free reign onto this 3rd dragon of the game. Guigo's thinking that this might be the last fight. He's feeling really confident. It's elixir hours for the boy. Aegis is on 3 items, and so is pretty much everybody else. Grevthar picked himself up a Medjai's. Finally, on the side of Furia, everyone landing on their mythics, but pretty much everybody's up a full item on their counterparts for Red. You're just looking for picks at this point for Furia.
Yeah, even 2 items in the case of the jungle and the mid here for Red Canids. And I thought this series was gonna honestly be quite close. It is looking like a 1-for-1, which is close, but I thought the games would be closer.
I agree.
And so far, it hasn't been the case for before. It's been one-sided stomps both game 1 and game 2 here. And like I said, at 10 minutes, I was kind of like, can we call the game over? It doesn't look like Furia is going to be able to come back, and so far it hasn't been the case. This is just, the sort of final coup de grace coming through from Red Canids here. Yeah. Furia, you're going to lose this probably. The question is how you want to go out. And so far, they've not even been able to find that blaze of glory. They're just slowly being strangled out instead.
Yeah, it's just FNB that has, I think, the metal to do anything. Hex Flash being channeled. Over the wall goes Aegis. 1 inhib down. We go up in the top lane by himself. You got to send at least 2 people to take care of Guigo. Meanwhile, the rest of the team just whittling away at the rest of the base. These are good lane assignments. Let Guigo be, he's an island unto himself, as they say. Try to get triple inhibs here, and indeed they will. You asked a couple minutes ago, now what can Red do with their Baron? How about triple inhib?
How about everything? It's still running for 30 seconds here. I mean, they don't get supers on this push, so they won't be able to take the Nexus turrets, unfortunately. But yeah, you're right. They take triple inhibs with it. That is about as efficient as you could hope with a Baron like that, before you've cracked that base. And, you're mentioning you've got to send 2 to stop Guigo in that top side. I want to highlight something about the way inhibitors work and the way your turrets work. Once you've lost 2 of your inhibitor turrets, the 3rd is indefensible because you can't actually send members in to reinforce that last one. We saw Rid just cut everybody off there. And so Furia just had to watch as it fell. If anything, FNB had to start running early on that turret or risk getting collapsed on. And speaking of running here, FNB, can he run fast enough?
Well,
he's got back.
Yeah, I was able to juke a little bit, and Guigo not opting to take that chase. Drop the ignite down. There we go. Thank you, Rose. Again, give him some love in the chat. There we go. By discovering the enemy's dispositions and remaining invisible ourselves, we can keep our forces concentrated while the enemies must be divided. You leave them guessing just by overwhelming them with possibilities. It's like for any World of Warcraft players out there, that's how the void works. That's how the void drives you crazy. The light speaks of one true destiny. The void, meanwhile, drives you crazy by telling you that everything is true. Everything can be considered, and you slowly go insane. Ooh, I like that Paint 2021 emote. That's one of the ones I have on my emote wheel. I love it.
Hey.
Anyway, final push here. No Baron buff necessary, but you've got triple supers coming in hot, and I mean hot. W out. Seismic shove here. Actually might be able to get one. There goes a tidal wave, and that's a big kill onto Guigo. Jojo stunned up. Envy rained a little bit of damage down, but the minions and even 4 members of Red, just too much. They knocked down 2 towers. Nexus exposed. Grevthar looking for a charm. That death sends Good and company trying to pile in here. They get Titan out of the fight. That's another shutdown. Furia win the fight.
But at what cost? 4x4, they lost everything here. The base is open, and now Grevthar, Guigo can look to back there. More importantly, yeah, you killed Guigo. Yeah, you killed Titan. You didn't kill Grevthar. Grevthar still has those 10 stacks on the Medjais for now. Furia by themselves, a stay of execution. They get 30 seconds, and then Titan's back up. Gigo's back up. Baron's coming up in a minute, so Furia, let's see what they can do with the gold they picked up here.
Yeah, they got 2 big shutdowns, and that has cut the lead down to 10,000. Woof. Cloud Soul. Do you know that Cloud Soul has a 93% win rate, RMC?
Yeah, I saw that. On Twitter, I think it was Wolverine just posting about it. I don't know how I feel about that on here. That's one of those situations I feel like stats lie in League of Legends. Like, we need context. Like, is it just the most common? You know, our team's just not contesting it because they don't care? Don't get me wrong. I actually think Cloud Soul is pretty strong, especially
and now in 12-14, right? The Soul got what, double its power?
Yeah, they doubled everything except for, I think it was it Infernal or Hextech? They didn't double. They increased it by 50% because it's already like too incredibly stacked. Yeah, no, I definitely. And again, AD carries, you know, having extra mobility. That's why we're seeing AD carries run Ghost for that matter, right? So it's like a free Ghost. I do think it's strong. I just don't know if it's the strongest.
Yeah, no, I don't think so either. Man, doesn't matter where you aim the thing, it takes him into the base. What a beautiful ultimate that Poppy has. Throws up the W. Titan in some trouble now, trying to get the heck out of dodge. Pops the ultimate. Gonna throw up a stopwatch and a thumbs up emote. FNB got in, did his damage, hoovers himself out in the 1v1 with Grevthar, and that is all she wrote as the rest of Furia mopped off the screen.